from what I have told, and admittedly I don't recognize, I don't memorize game release dates very often. This game came out, I believe it was 27 years ago today. Today being June 10th when I'm streaming this. So I think it would be quite fun if we were able to beat this challenge today on this stream on June 10th. The 27th anniversary of the release of Quest 64. I mean, if not, we're not super far off, really. It's gonna come down more to the fact that a lot of these upcoming bosses are gonna be a little bit rough. And not just by virtue of like, oh, well, you don't have healing. I mean, that's kind of true, but more to the point, it's the fact that we've got 2 fire bosses and 2 sort of null elemental bosses. Bosses against whom none of our spells are going to be particularly, like, super effective. And of course, the fire element bosses, the only things that we can do against them are basically going to be spamming Wind Cutter. I suppose we could get in their faces and melee them, but that's usually quite dangerous, and of course most bosses have a purgative effect, and I believe that is true of both Fargo and Begus. Begus? I am not completely certain of how to pronounce that name, and I think I saw a spirit here. And yeah, at this point, practically everything is just going to be spamming fireballs at us. So that's good. That really makes me think that anything here is going to be able to resist anything that we have on the red portion of our C stick there. Our C, more like stick D-pad. Stick pad. Oh, that miss is quite helpful. Because I do not remember enemy elements off the top of my head, but I have a feeling that these blue men are fire type. Even considering the fact that they are, well, very, very blue. I believe I'm arriving at this building a little bit early, and is there even anything in here? I don't know if there's even oh no, there is a chest, so at least there's that. It's not a complete waste of our time. Although for giant shoes, that's not exactly a high priority item for us. It's no amulet, it's no, well, not much of anything else really. In terms of utilities. Oh, somehow we didn't get hit by that. Alright. Sure. Oh, these guys do that, huh? Alright, so we'll up our agility. And Vampire's Touch. I was really hoping you were gonna miss there, champ. That's better. And then we can buff our damage output here as well. And I can be in a very bad place with regard to this. And dang. Well, yeah, this is not a very friendly area for us, to be honest with you. Get that little bit of emulator-based lag entering the save screen. I saw a spirit there, I just don't recall exactly where. Maybe if I let the sky darken a little bit here, it might help me out. Okay, I have no idea how we dodged that the first time then. It's like, what, if we run diagonally, that's how we dodge Magnet Rock? Is that what I'm to understand? That's weird. But useful information nevertheless. I guess it kind of makes sense. It is 4 that come at you from, like, cardinal directions. And yeah, as we've now maxed out our 2 attacking elements, we're taking other stuff just for stat boosts, really. We're not going to be using any of our water magic or our earth magic because they would make the game too easy. And yes, I have decided that that includes healing. No, even like, oh, heal before a boss. No, 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 no. We can go without. And Brian can continue to not hit a broadside of a barn. And that, of course, is going to be our, like, supreme undoing here, if anything. Now, if I had a, like, good idea as to where the couple of spirits that we get before we hit Shamwood are, because again, we want to get our stats there. That didn't work the way I had hoped it would. Spam the field a little bit. Actually, let's get at this dude and do one of these and see what kind of damage it does. About 100 per rock. We've seen far better. But again, the area of effect is kind of nice. Alright, I just clobber Blue Man Group a little bit here, because that's the damage output for this party. It seems like we can out-heal the Sandman's physical attack. So that's good. Oh, I see it over there. Crud Vapors. I don't like that. Oh, that was a pretty good little area cut there. Pretty good large cutter for us. Okay, now put ourselves between these two so I make sure that Sandman is in melee range. And continue to leave. Fuck. Well, we're dead. Good work, Brian. You really clutched that one out. Thanks a lot, RNG. So I guess we can already scratch good luck off the list of options here. Oh, well, that's fine, dude. I mean, you go right ahead and purge my Oh, never mind. Okay, less never mind, because we're actually back to normal here. Oh, fuck. I hate this. At least you're missing a fireball occasionally, dude. Well. Large cutter. Yeah, so I think this might actually just kind of end up being like one of the worst areas for encounters that we've had in a minute. Like, yeah, there were some things that kind of sucked in Barragoon Tunnel, but they weren't as bad as all that as a rule. Unfortunately, here we just don't do a lot of damage to very much of anything. Alright, let's go over here. Yes, that's what I was trying to set up, was that way at least a couple of these guys would just go for the silence instead. I mean, realistically, I might be able to just sit at, like, the very edge here and do possibly the stupidest strategy possible. Of just shit ultimate wind. Because silence doesn't hit us very often. It does work occasionally, but it's not like the most common thing. I mean, of course, the damage is absolute, like, just trash, as you can see. There's not really much else of a useful description here other than, wow, it's bad, but we got there. It just was extremely unpleasant to do so. And of course, we have only healing potions for healing items. Granted, we're kind of awash in them, at least, so... What do we got here? We got... let's go back to the start of the inventory. Count from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I mean, we got 10 healing potions. I'm gonna go ahead and burn one. And now we just do this. And try to stay as far away from these effing things as possible. This looks like the safest location for me, I think. You're too far away, dude. Come on, give it up. Ah, good. I'm glad to hear the misses happening here. Now, you of course are a complete chode because you came over here, and let's try to do that. Yep, that's pretty good. Oh no, we're silenced. We can just wait this out, literally. Like, just skip turns until it breaks off of us. Like that. Because otherwise we can't get up to it and just, like, hit it in the face without burning a giant shoe or something, which seems like kind of a waste. Even though it's not a super important item, still. I'll be right back, everybody. Alright, folks, I'm back. Sorry for the holdup. Oh. To say, I saw it as I was turning the camera. Okay. Now. Let's see and get like as close to the edge as we're permitted. Turn around. And just start doing this. It's probably going to take like 5 casts to be able to kill any of these, but... Fuck you, man. I guess we're walking. I'm walking here. Oh, I'm busy, alright? Game? If you could, like, actually respect the fact that I'm a little bit in the middle of trying to find this damn item, that would be very helpful. Thankfully, the werecats have, like, absolute garbage range on their firebombs, as a rule. Although this one's actually getting kind of close to me, so instead it used fireball. Okay, well... Ah, yes, I'm glad that that split itself in a sane and sensible manner. Instead of those shots going anywhere where I wanted them to, instead I just fucking missed with large cutter. Good time. Good, the fight ended with me facing the thing. Okay. I legitimately do not need, like, any of these dewdrops, especially not at this point. Like, there's so many of them. Ooh, Sandmans. That's perfect. I can recover some HP as long as I don't die before then. Which, admittedly, the odds are not 0. Yeah, especially in a case like that. Well, whatever. We got the spirit and we only had to spend 1 healing potion. So if I end up dying from this anyway, like, how mad can I be? Plus, I think we've gained at least an HP just from that little excursion. And yeah, now we have to do this in order to not die. So I would like to keep the experience points from the fight. Now, there is one out here in the middle of the desert. I kind of don't want to bother looking for this because I don't remember the location offhand, so... You know, that search would just absolutely suck butts. And I think that's the technical term, so... You know, feel free to correct me if that's not the case, but... I feel pretty confident in saying that it sucks butts is the technical way to refer to it. Yeah, the spirit out here in the wastes. God, I can't even remember specifically where Shamwood is, so like there's just no winning with it. This. Wow, I actually got hit by that. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't think I've ever been hit by the Catgirl's magma bomb ever before. So, wow. Hey, we got 4 HP since starting the stream. That's like 1 every 5 minutes. That's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily good either, but like... Considering... Ah, sweet baby Jesus, this is gonna be awful. So I'm thinking we just try to set ourselves up in a slightly more defensible position, but at least leaving ourselves... Oh, God damn it. You can't even get over there, Brian. Come on. You and your tiny legs. Now, because of how combat works on this in this game, it's actually just going to be better for us to not necessarily eliminate things right off the hop. Oh, Hot Steam is doing great damage, so that's probably the strategy to clear these dudes out better, actually. And start another sprite. Neat. Start doing a little bit of that. Yeah, so I mean, I can kind of do this while staying away. And, again, watch these fireballs fail to hit their targets sometimes. Alright, and some magma ball. Well, at least we got the kill. I was going to be very annoyed about missing any of those, because, like, I really don't need that horse shit in my life right now, game. Fuck! And then as soon as I say that, guess what? You missed 2 out of 3 of the hits that you even landed in that next action. Well, good times. Yeah, this place is really stepping up the pain by a pretty good margin. It's a waste of my time. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm thinking it's gonna be better. Cowardice being the better part of valor, you know. Just get the fuck out of there. Yeah, we've hit a point where... Oh, Anna just got assassinated. Well, that's slightly tragic. Okay, now I just do not remember where on the map Shamwood is. And I'm kind of considering not going for the desert. The desert one there. Because that's kind of awful. Is this 4 in the encounter? I think it's 4. And so let's just do a little bit more of this. And of course this one is pissed off, so that's fine. It got close enough that I can just dump on it. So and that's number 4. This is about when I want to throw cutters to try to make sure that I get that thing. All right. And yeah, I'm continuing to assume that the moths are fire, which would fit in with the caterpillars. So that's why I'm not just leaning into the fact that I could use the fire magic, which is actually damaging. as opposed to wind magic, which is still quite damaging. But usually it's like a bunch of little hits. And it can be a little bit dicey in terms of how much it actually likes to hit anything. Okay, we failed to hit the one at the back. But we did get the one that was actually close enough to fireball us, so... As long as the rest of these goofballs continue to be completely unadventurous, just sit here on the periphery. Yeah, see, here's Ultimate Wind coming in far more handy in this playthrough. This has to be like the most anybody has ever used this move, right? Unless it was literally the only thing they had. Oh, you are going to fucking die, dude. Oh, you want a piece too? Didn't you see what happened to the other one? God, I'm not even down to the big desert yet, and I'm half dead. Sheesh. Okay, yes, I want no part of this. I mean, I say that, I can probably do something with these about the cat girl in terms of its ability to fight us. Yeah, okay, they're actually like fight the glass cannon, so we're all right there. All right, now stay only close enough to cast silence. No damaging moves, just silence. Stay. No, fuck you. Fuck you, game. Come on. I just want to be able to get out of an encounter without losing half of my fucking health. And now we're gonna die, just instantly. Yeah, as I proceeded to run backwards into the thing that damaged me. In that case, I blame the weird terrain. Yeah, I mean, I do. I guess I just never assume it to be any good. I mean, are you seeing how often it's working when the enemies do it? Because the answer is, it's not. Yeah, I mean, I can still give it a shot, though. Let's see if this... Well, it did something. And at this point, that's more than I can say about a lot of these. It's just like, hey, there was an effect that happened. And then my vampire's touch wears off immediately, because this game just likes to make me feel bad. Yeah, it's fine, dude. Whatever. This is actually a very long-lasting silence effect on the enemies, so I gotta give credit there. Alright, now just in case this can actually wear off on them. Yeah, plus actually taking the physical damage from Sandman gives me more defense experience and is extremely low risk. So, you know, that seems like a pretty fair trade-off to me. Finished off with the wind cutters. Try to get a little bit of MP experience there. Oh. Alright, I don't remember the trick to dodge this anymore. Apparently, so... That's fun. That's better. Alright. Well, that worked on one of them, so that's more than I would expect, I guess. Brian? Brian! Do you need some sort of, like, assistance being able to see? Do you need glasses, buddy? Come on, I'm getting so unbelievably salty about all these misses. It's causing quite serious problems. I mean, to be fair, that's perhaps to be expected considering that's sort of my... Ah, shit. That's sort of my lifeline, but... Whatever, that works. Yeah, see, the problem here is that... Yeah, failing to hit the blue man is actually kind of the problem here. I really do not want to get close to this group here, but... I can also just miss despite aiming straight at him. And that's like a physical miss, not a... Oh, fuck yourself, game. Come on. Well, no, don't give in to the temptation to run up and start beating on his ass, even though it's the thing to do, really. Alright, so now we can just do this. Insane, now that's, like, not really escapable. South? Just go south. This at least gives me a vertical vantage point to be completely defied by good old N64 draw distance. Our favorite on this channel. Alright, stay back. Good enough. We got out of that without taking damage, which, for this part of the game, that's kind of miraculous, actually. that's fireball range for sure. Yep. Get away from that only taking the one hit. Fine. Alright, now I hope I've got the right placement here. Yep, okay. Good. Alright, so... just do things this way. And again, provided we don't miss, we do very slowly gain HP in this encounter. Until Vampire's Touch wears off. Yeah, about that. So, I guess is like at bare minimum we can say, hey, we're probably going to break even on this one. Yes, that miss is huge. I'm alternating back and forth between them in order to make sure that I'm always within melee range of both of them, so that way they don't cast Magnet Rock. Because Magnet Rock is very wonky to dodge, and it does significantly more damage than their punch does. Oh yeah, there it is. I see the weird, like, not quite Sims bobber there. Oh, you're getting close enough for that now. Yep. Alright, so we just leave. Never mind, it's... no part of that is worth it. So where the... fuck did it go? Now I gotta get back up on a hill here. There we go. Alright, just keep running east. Would you get off my fucking back, all of you? Actually, you know what? That's fine as long as I can get in close enough here. Never mind, it's starting to get a little scary. Okay, yeah, good. These guys are getting their back-to-back misses now. That's good. Unfortunately, now is when we're gonna not get it, right? For ourselves. Fuck! That's not how I meant it, game. Not under any circumstances. I apologize that English is a language that requires context behind the meaning of certain words sometimes, but good lord, I know you can hear me, cartridge. I've played a video game before, I know that's how they work. I'm not insane or anything. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. What do you think I'm... Oh, that's tremendous, actually. I kind of don't want to use it, though. I want to wait, because we're going to get to the Shamwood teleporter. We're going to get interrupted by some garbage butterfly. Get this thing the hell out of here. Yeah, I guess actually it's us that's getting out of here. Never mind. I was really hoping the game would allow me to kill that just because I like the free experience, but no, it actually managed to land a silence on its, like, 10% odds or whatever. It definitely seems like it's pretty low. Alright, now, do I even remotely remember how to do this? And the answer is apparently I got in here pretty quickly. Oh, well then it might actually feel like a viable strategy as a result, but I'm sure for the enemies the odds are not good for, you know, in your favor. Oh, well, I guess at least if it's still kind of usable by you, then that's... And it's not just the enemies getting to be able to be cheesy with it. That's kind of good. 'Cause yeah, as I've said before, a lot of RPGs have kind of just, like, trained me and probably several other people against the idea of using, like, any status effects. Also, where is this spirit? Is it supposed to be around the back? I'm probably, like, walking past it or something and having a very hard time seeing it. Unless it's further around the loop. Because it's on this first level, right? It might be a floor down and I'm being a fool. Because, yeah, there's that whole area over there that we can... at, right? Yeah, like, there might be some inside. I just forgot that you could go here. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Here's a couple more. Found a silent flute. What else you got? Dragon's potion. Celine's Bell. I forget what that is, but I don't think it's super useful for me. Spirit Light. Well, good. Now I got 2 of those, I think. A replica. It could be helpful if we end up in a really shitty encounter. Healing potion. Oh, I see. It's restriction level 2. Giant shoes. Dewdrop. And lastly, silver amulet. Grab that. And we go up again in the middle here, right? Because, yeah, it's got stairs there. Right, which kind of makes sense. This is what we saw. That. Over here? Nope. Alright, so... this guy in his wild cloak. Has got a room with a whole 4 spirits in it. Take the treasure. Brian, please get into position properly. Got our golden amulet. Nice. Hey, you, do you have anything useful, LeVar Burton? No, you just have plot, which, well, we've seen how much there is in this game. Or actually, we haven't, because it's that little. But we've picked up every item in here, and all the spirits. And we're at like 28 water. That's gonna give a pretty good boost to our wind damage. Oh. You mean we don't go back to the start of the desert? I thought you did for some reason. Maybe that's just rando. Oh, okay. That makes sense. And where did walking off the edge there lead us? Well, it sort of looped us a little bit. So I'm trying to, with the last of my HPs here, look for the spirit. Where is this last spirit, I guess, relative to where I am on the map? The spirit out here in the desert. No, that one's gonna kill me. Yep. Well, so much for that. It's okay, I don't care anymore. This isn't 100% playthrough, so I don't require that. I already have maxed out my 2 actual main elements. Anything else is just, like, relatively small stat boosts. Turn on our evade level 2 here. As these guys go into offense mode. Just for a chance at a little bit of agility experience. I was gonna say in case any of their physical attacks ever decide to miss. And then of course we immediately just lose the buff in like 2 turns. I'm always glad for the, like, stupidly short buffs because they upset me greatly. And, of course, Brian's... Never mind, I was going to say one extra time before the end of the fight, but that's 2 extra times before the end of the fight. Good work, buddy. Even when you succeed, you make me sad. God, that was some horrible aim. Wow, it didn't die from that. Okay. I guess, yeah, because there was fairly little other hits to it before that, so. Alright, but it doesn't make me happy anyway. Evade. And ratiate ourselves fairly nicely into the middle of this group. I was gonna say, if the agility stat would like to work anytime soon, that'd be good. It did, though. Okay, this is rapidly developing into an issue. With this, like, absolutely not hitting shit problem. I know, technically I could train my agility or something, but, like, that takes a while. I don't want to sit here and grind on a stream. Okay, you can just fuck right off with that game. Seriously? The effects were gone, and you still count that as a hit. Oh, and then I get immediately just... Wonderful game. Wonderful game. Just... instantly... getting smacked for my hubris of wanting to actually use the game mechanics. Twice! Back to back there. Thank you, game. I am so grateful. Not quite a double kill, but... Alright. Hey, how's it going there, Bradley Rose? We're decently deep into this. And by that, I mean... this part of the game is kind of rough when you only have fire and wind. Because you really do not have super effective damage against Jack out here. Or if you do, it certainly doesn't feel like it. And if nothing else, you could really use some healing spells. Oh yeah, I decided to go after this because honestly, I thought it would be kind of fun. At least to be able to say that I've done it, if nothing else. There was actually a patch of this where it wasn't too bad, and that part was oh fuck, I think I should just leave this fight. The section where it wasn't too bad was mostly the Isle of Skye, actually. I mean, I think that was a moment where Nepti was just the most absolute nothing boss fight. No, sorry, when I said patch, I meant that in the sense of like a stretch of... I don't know why I said patch is the word, which is like, you know, a patch of gameplay, but there probably is some ROM hack stuff out there that I am not aware of. Outside of randomizer. That's a thing that I think everybody knows about already, so... Well, everybody. Anybody in the community. Certainly. So... Yeah, I have been leveling up water, as you can see, but that's because I maxed everything else out. I didn't start with, you know, 7 for healing or anything, and I'm barring myself from using those spells. As much as they would be quite helpful, and they would, you know, it seems like it's at least against the spirit, if not the text. And in this case, I'm taking the extra levels because, well, we've kind of already maxed everything else out. And I think if it's just contributing to stats, that's probably fair. Not everyone will necessarily agree with that point, which you are perfectly entitled to disagree, is all I can say, truly. Okay, so now that we've saved at Greenock, there's no wings there. I thought there were, which I'll tell you that I'm a fool. Yeah, it's pretty easy to max out 2 elements by themselves, rather. Because, I mean, if you skip literally every fight for some goofy reason, there's still almost 100 spirits in the game just already, so you're gonna have to start dumping more into your stats afterwards. Okay, so I think everything else in Dindum Dries is after Greenock, or yeah, Greenock, pardon me. I was like, did I say the wrong one? No. How often do I play? It's been a while since I have played it. I admit that I kind of don't play it regularly. For a while, I was playing a reasonable chunk of Quest 64 Randomizer, which may come back as a thing to get thrown into the mix on Thursday and Friday streams, which lately has been just Metroid Prime randomizers, because I enjoy those quite a bit. But usually when I play a game on, at least on stream, it's going to be just me playing through a fairly normal playthrough on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I don't think I've played this game vanilla with a more normal strategy, if you will. But I've definitely played a couple of randos on this channel. I have played the game vanilla before, a couple of times. Granted, it's been a few years since then. But unsurprisingly, when I was doing those playthroughs, I was sort of using the more standard strategy. And this, well, it is drastically different, to put it mildly. There's, on the one hand, there is something quite cool about getting to see certain spells that I don't get to use very much and learning to really appreciate how good they are. Ultimate Wind isn't really a great spell. It's just that it's very helpful in a situation like this, where there's a large amount of enemies and it would be very nice to stay the hell away from them. But like the Magma Ball, which these Magma Sunfish use, they're just called Magma Fish. But you can tell they've got that sort of Mola Mola design on them. That is a thing that I did not realize how good it was, basically, until doing this playthrough. Because otherwise, I don't have a great amount of time to actually put it to use. Because fire has this sort of reputation in this game of being not a good element. And I mean, there's fair reasons for that. It doesn't really have the greatest support skill. It mostly just deals damage. The wind spells at least tend to hit in like unusual patterns and stuff, so they're useful for that purpose. Plus, I think wind's supporting aspects are probably better. But obviously, usually you're just using earth and water in most playthroughs of this. Because earth, you get your stupidly overpowered avalanche that has still a good enough chance of doing anything that it's worth gambling on. But see, I can't really put Magma Ball to use here in order to actually show off how good the damage is, but we did get a little taste of it from a couple of enemies earlier that we were seeing. You land all 3 shots, like, you get into melee range and it's just, hey, 300 damage to something. That's tremendous. That's very, very potent. Plus, it has that purgative effect, which, I mean, it would actually be kind of useful against these guys as a consequence, but there simply isn't a great, the damage output would not be consequently very useful. Like that, see, it removed the defense up from this magma fish, so we can wind cutter it and we can do better damage. So it gives you a bit more of an appreciation for some strategies and some spells that you rarely use in the game otherwise. And I think that's just kind of neat. Again, the fact that there's dimensionality in this game that a lot of people, I think, don't have the greatest amount of respect for this game on a lot of levels. Like, I mean, okay, already it's kind of generic sounding at output. It's just called Quest 64 in English. Well, asterisk, saying in English is not correct because that's only in the US. In Europe and several European languages, several European countries, they do speak at least some English. So, yes, let me autocorrect here a little bit that it's under at least a somewhat more a name with more character to it. I think I almost said a somewhat more characteristic name, and that's not really how you use that word. But also between that and just the fact that this game's balance is the way that it is, has been known for just about forever, has kind of ruined a lot of people's interest in actually playing this. Or giving anything other than the obvious strategies a try, which I think is kind of a shame because this battle system actually does kind of have something going for it. I think if you put this into another game, because unfortunately this game's reputation is ruined and there's nothing I'm going to be able to, you know, there's nothing I or unfortunately any other streamer who likes it even more than me could do to repair that. But I think that if you put this into something else, I think that people would probably be like, hey, that's really cool. And then they find out where you got the ideas from. It's like, oh, wow. That's shock. Yeah, exactly, JJ. See, you get it, champ. You've got the idea here. If this game wasn't ruined by, you know, just by pretty much just memes, basically. So I'm kind of hoping, at least on some level, that we get a pretty good interpretation of this from somebody at some point. The battle system, I mean, in this case. The rest of it is not necessary, but yeah. Like, there are other games that sort of use this sort of open-ended, roam around kind of battle system. Like, there's part of me that I think this is kind of a little bit related in some way to what was going on with Parasite Eve, if I recall correctly. With that style of thing. Not perfectly or anything. I'm not out here trying to completely deceive anybody, just partially. Oh, no, don't put it that way. Don't say it like that, not even as a joke. So yeah, it'd be cool to see another group use this style of battle system for something. You've been enjoying looking at the environments. Well, I suppose that the nicest thing I can say about that, I do like the overall, like, shapes of stuff. The modeling is quite good. I'm not 100% sold on a lot of the world textures as such. I like the monster design and stuff, though. You know, that looks cool. The character design is not bad. The kids would say it's very lit. Yeah, you're kind of right. They would, wouldn't they? That's a little bit of the vibe that you get, is that these sort of rather indistinct locations I don't know, how much dirt do you think I would have to apply to screenshots of this to put it on like an analog horror sort of community? Which sounds mean. I don't mean it to, but you know, I'm not saying that this looks horrible, but it does sort of have like that vibe of, you know, do people still refer to this idea of the back rooms? I feel like if you wanted to make the back rooms the RPG, this might actually kind of, this sort of like overworld anyway. I don't know about the rest of anything, but it's got a little bit of that vibe of like, but also part of that is because I have a lot of memories of getting horribly lost in this location. And, well, not even just this location, pardon me, this game. This location too, probably, but even outside of just this one location, there are plenty of places where it's quite easy to get lost as fuck, and I've gotten turned around so many times in places that even in this run where I feel like I've done pretty good for myself, it's been a recurring concern. Oh, thank goodness it decided to not actually just close the gap and take the damage that it was able to get anyway, if it had done that. Yeah, with our only overworld healing being items, and I still have that honey bread, don't I? Because I used my one brain cell and chose not to eat my loaf of bread just out in the overworld. So I can at least get some health back. It's just that I'm always going to be a little bit like, you know, kind of weighing out risk-reward very heavily, and oh, good lord, those things are pretty beefy. The nightmares. They're living up to their name a little bit. It's been a minute since I fought one, so it's like I forgot how extremely frustrating it is to take those down when I'm really just doing chip damage with that spell. Oh. Oh! I didn't deserve to not get hit by that. Damn! Good job, Brian. You actually, you know, got RNG in a good... Not that Brian BT dubs, for anybody who's... You know, we got Bryself viewers here, so whenever I've been saying Brian'd it, because especially after the time Round the Wheel showed up in the Wednesday stream of this and was reminding me that, yeah, it's always going to feel really odd to play something and a friend's name is in there. Every time I've been using the term Brian as like a verb or something, which has been frequent because I've been like, oh yeah, we're really Brianing it real hard here with this RNG. Which is almost a mean gag at this point, but still. The RNG in this game can be absolutely a massive prick. So it's not meant to be like, you know, old Bryself brining their... Wow, wow, hi Tev. How you doing? And yeah, we're out here on the old blacktop, the old 2-lane blacktop. Picking up a couple of, well, one spirit. We can't actually go across... No, we can, never mind. I was like... Can't we? Ouch. Yeah, I'm sure that as soon as I enter this boil hole, which I believe the term boil hole is like actually a fairly generic term for a location of geologic. I almost said architectural, but no, it's not. Oh no, I already ate my bread. Shit. Yes, would you like to guess what element the boss is that's at the bottom of this hole? Because I'll give you a hint, it's not ice. I mean, that kind of describes most fights in this game, especially when we've got these slow-ass motherfuckers. This is the enemy model here. Yeah, hey, nice... Hey, man, nice rock. Wait, that's... Good rock, man. Wait. just keep sitting in here making really stupid music jokes, like... Not that any of my jokes have been particularly smart, but the music ones are starting to feel real dumb. Hey! Good work not hitting me with that, with your pebbles. These guys actually don't seem to be too bad to fight. Considering I can dodge their hey man, nice rock, and I take like nothing from rock shower. I mean, they suck to fight for other reasons, most notably the one where they take like 8,000 years to get anywhere, but... I guess, you know, that's an odd choice for animation. Like, you know, I won't complain about much else from the perspective of, like, those aspects of anything in Quest 64. I like the combat system. And most of the enemy designs are pretty cool. Some of their animations are even neat. But, like, making these dudes do, like, slow, goofy, exaggerated, ooh, I'm gonna creep up on you kind of stepping is what you might politely call tremendously silly. In fact, you might even call it tremendously... Oh, wait, no. Goofy was the last game we played. Never mind. That's right, everybody. The last game that we played on this channel was Goof Troop. No, it wasn't. Tremendously Brian. There we go. I wish. God, yeah, I kind of do wish the last game I played on this channel was Goof Troop. The last game I played on this channel was Kingdom Hearts 2. I'd rather play Goof Troop than that. I'd probably rather play this than that, but, you know. On the other hand, Kingdom Hearts 2 is kind of wonderful because it's like, hey, I have a lot of material for my stand-up comedy routine doing that. Actually, it's more of a sit-down comedy routine, but, you know, if you say anything about that, the Union will come and get me. Hey, we got ourselves another loaf. Go up loaf and they bread. Because, I mean, Kingdom Hearts is just a a series with a lot of ridiculous shit going on, so it's quite easy to joke and to say things about the characters and, you know, not necessarily out of entirely disrespect, because I enjoy the gameplay right up until I don't. And there are, like, one or two characters in there that are pretty good. Usually for the wrong reasons, but... I mean... I stand by my assessment of Vexen as an NFT, dude, by the way. Just for the one person in here who's literally the specific person that I said that to. I stand by that assessment. But yeah, I mean, I almost enjoy Kingdom Hearts for how ridiculous it is, but that's a pretty big almost, because quite frankly, there are like certain major breakpoints in that are just like, okay, you've yucked a little too close to the sun or something. I don't know what kind of description I want to have here for this, but we're going with that now. That's right, Nomura, now you done goofed. There we go. I'm struggling a little bit with saying things that make sense. Which, incidentally, kind of makes me fit right in with Kingdom Hearts. Oh, Kingdom Hearts is a fun game. It's just that the plot is kind of ridiculous. Oh, hey, look. Big, low-polygon cat. With no transparency in its textures because it's 1998, baby! What do you do it? Oh, you belch steam at close range. There we go. Yeah, needless to say, Mr. McPlasty, I do not recommend getting too deep into the plot because you will go insane. I'm pretty sure that, in fact, that's like how Ansem became a Heartless in the first game. Asterisk, that's technically not what happened, but shut up. We're going to pretend that Kingdom Hearts is a fully episodic franchise. And everything has happened completely independent of everything else. It certainly would go a ways to account for why certain things are the way they are. Or something. Well, good, then you've already got a head start on my whole master plan here to make Kingdom Hearts be not complete garbage. Plot-wise, again, I need to re-emphasize, and these butterflies are such jerks. Like, wow, I mean, who could imagine an enemy doesn't want to get hit? Like, what a crime. But also, it does kind of upset me a little bit. Okay, there I believe is a spirit here. You'll have to be a little more specific, Alan, as to what part of what is my opinion, or just the truth, or the other way around, rather. That these enemies are jerks? Well, I'm pretty sure that that's just a cold hard fact for you, but it may also just be like my opinion, man. Oh, oh, you're really just you're Ludiker posting. All right, dude, I get you. Well, I feel that it's probably fair to just say that anything regarding Kingdom Hearts that I say in here is just like my opinion, man. But, and the episodic idea, again, just me spitballing. But saying that, I feel that the general tenor, even among the fan base, is that some of that stuff is kind of over the top and confounding. And I mean, to be fair, if that's what you're in for, that's what you're in for. Okay, so we've only got one Rockington here, and yeah, just stand here. You can walk up to me because Rock Shower is less than 20 damage, but I don't want to pay the tax. I just want to heal. Come on. Oh. Well, there's the actual tax for you, is the RNG telling me to... telling me what my lunch is and where to stick it. There we go. I had to remember what the phrase was that one guy said. And I think I said it wrong anyway, but whatever. Speaking of where to stick it, Brian fights with a massive staff. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is probably like the most damage I've seen out of a staff wielder in an RPG in a minute, which is kind of sad in its own way. Like, can we not get a dude with like a quarterstaff kind of, you know, bow staff thing running around a little bit? I mean, I guess the black belt in FF1 can do that for like 2 levels or so. Actually, streamer, it's 2 levels! Only for the purposes of the joke, though. I mean, obviously, yeah, it takes a little bit longer for fists to become the mainstay for the black belt. I have played FF1 like a few thousand years ago. I've actually got a cartridge of it, so... of the NES version, for that matter. I have, well, multiple copies of FF1. I'm trying to think, do I have that on Game Boy Advance as well? Because I know that I have my NES FF1 cartridge that I've already described. I have the PS1 version of it, and I have the PSP version of it. I think I have all of the PS1 Final Fantasies. Don't take my word for that, but I believe that to be the case. A collection of games that also slightly oddly includes Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger, yes. On the same set as FF4. Which is rather odd because it is specifically named like Final Fantasy Anthology or something like that. I forget if that one is Anthology or if it's a different one, but it's rather odd to have Chrono Trigger under the Final Fantasy banner. I guess it's not necessarily that far removed, truth be told, but you'd probably just think that because, hey, Square Enix RPG from an era when they were just Squaresoft. So, not a Square Enix RPG, then the hell am I saying? But in retrospect, thinking about it, I feel like... gosh, Chrono Trigger probably has some of the least, like, other Final Fantasy signature elements out of any of those sort of weird adjuncts from that period. Because Secret of Mana had Moogles. Had turning into a Moogle as a status effect. Which doesn't actually sound like that bad of a deal until you remember the ones in 14. Which didn't exist at the time, so... they're jerks. I mean, at least it's to a humorous effect. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the fact that they look like they do, because the ones in FF7 Remake, from what I'm led to understand from the couple of people that I've heard mention it specifically, is that those things are ugly as shit. Like, that was a design choice. And listen, I'm not a professional in that space. So far be it for me to come over here and say, what the fuck are you doing to someone like Tetsuya Nomura, whose actual job this is. But it's all right, Alan. I know. I don't know about anybody else knowing that, but yeah. Moogles are generally pretty great. I have a strong affection for Moogles. I knew that Final Fantasy Magic set was going to be pretty good when, like, one of the first cards they spoiled was Stiltskin. That's just good taste. Nice. I do not remember a lot of things about FF15. I apologize. I mean, I could go rewatch your, like, however many streams of that game you did, like 20, 30. It was a lot, because it's a long game. Yeah, the save Moogle in 9, and all the others too, but the save Moogle, of course, is the one you interact with the most, and it's very easy to get that little Easter egg of just, like, keep summoning and sending him back, and you just... and Mogwo just gradually gets angrier and angrier, and it's quite amusing. I don't know, other way, because, yeah, we had some stuff going on here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna actually power staff and just get through this encounter a little faster. Just by virtue of the fact that, hey, are kind of near a boss. And even though ultimately I think the amount of HP that we'll be able to buy back from this fight will be about the same. Why not, right? I mean, it does help if we actually land our hits. Can you miss, please? Ah, it was too much to ask for. Darn. Just because, again, if we're actually as close to the boss as it sort of is starting to look like... yeah. It would have been nice to have full HP. Okay, no, we're not at the boss yet. We're getting there? Probably? So, yeah. Yeah. I just... ultimately, in retrospect, it is kind of strange that they did that Chrono Trigger re-release for PS1 in a thing that's tied to the Final Fantasy franchise. I think some people kind of just treated them as being very close because obviously the Final Fantasy games were becoming so much of a big deal, even though we didn't get all of them at the time. You know something? You know what's weird? Is inside of those Final Fantasy collections on PS1, and I'm not necessarily saying that I'm not necessarily complaining about how this all hashed out, but we got Chrono Trigger alongside Final Fantasy IV. We got FF5 and FF6. We got FF1 and FF2. We didn't get a re-release of FF3. That's odd. And I don't know why I never really thought about it until that point. But yeah, there was no FF3 re-release. In fact, we had to wait all the way until the DS for it to come out in America whatsoever, as far as I can remember. So, I'm not sure why they did that. Especially because I know that a lot of people who are, like, more knowledgeable about this than me, which, you know, as much as I like to say that I play video games, admittedly, there are very large gaps in my video game knowledge. That a lot of people seem to like FF3 quite a bit. Especially people who know, and I mean, there's also the part where the first set of alliance raids that they added to 14 were based on FF3, which is quite interesting. Oh, hey, you. I don't really like this fight. This is just going to be too much HP, really, to deal with, and we are quite close to the boss. FF9 is very heavily based on FF3 plot-wise, is my understanding. It's quite similar. And yeah, and then they didn't release it in the US until the DS version, and the DS version is notably rather different. For a start, kind of making new characters out of the playable party. That they actually had, like, canon names and shit. Unfortunately, I really have not played more than, like, a few minutes of FF3. So I can't really tell you much about anything in any direction there. Except, oh hey, Xande was the boss that they ended up putting into Circus Tower. Circus Tower, yes. I couldn't remember the order of the Realm Reborn Alliance raids. I mean, truth be told, the Realm Reborn Alliance raids are like... They're in a rather unfortunate state, because the level of gear that you're permitted for those means that you kind of have people who just caveman through those, that there is not a single brain cell being used in a Circus Tower or a Labyrinth of the Ancients or a World of Darkness. Yeah, bring back eye level 90. I'm not opposed to this, because just yeah. I have, however, been in instances of Labyrinth where people have just wiped on Phlegaton. They've just been like, I'm not gonna do the mechanics. And then guess what happens? They die because, yeah, you can't greed that hard on the fight. Like, I've seen people who... I've been in parties where they've been able to greed decently and get only one Ancient Flare to go off. You can't get a 0 Ancient Flare Phlegaton. That's just not gonna happen, dude. Don't even kid yourself, man. At that point, your ego has gotten so big that it has smothered your brain. Your Brian, perhaps. Wait. I think that's really the only place where I've seen wipes in Crystal Tower series. We've had a couple of times, I don't know who this we is. It's just me and referring to randos, but whatever. I've been in a couple of Crystal Tower raids where we've had some pretty dire instances of Mammon and Angramanyu, or however you pronounce the eyeball's name. Angry Mango. Interestingly, I don't think I've ever been in a Serb that's wiped. Maybe once, but I certainly don't remember it. There's definitely been more Phlegaton wipes, I can tell you that for sure. That is true, that people are not good at it. I've been in some ones that suck. I've just not necessarily been in ones that have wiped. I've been in some pretty shitty Atmos fights, though. I will agree with that. I just haven't been unlucky enough to be in one that actually wiped. I could totally see that. I mean, I feel like you really only get two kinds of fights as a rule with Cerberus in World of Darkness. And it's either dudes who are just like fairly generically bad, or you get people who are using the ABC strategy as like an actual strategy. And it does kind of seem like, hey, yeah, big meme at this point, but I don't know. It still is definitely not the worst part of that in terms of amount of times I've been in fights wiping. I can say that. I was gonna say, do I have something less than a healing potion? Because I don't want to waste that. That's a little too strong. And I feel like this guy is gonna go down like a sack of things that go down. I mean, I'm not really able to dodge his thrown fireball too well, but Mr. Big Shoulders Man here. Got him. And he gave us a nice chunk of HPs. We are up to 248. I was gonna say, where the hell is the stuff that I gotta pick up here? Because there's a spirit, there's a chest. Well, hooray, we managed to beat one boss today. We still got time on the clock, so it's not like I'm, you know, tapping out here. That would be ridiculous. But there's still a good chunk more game, and the fact that the desert was as slow and as much of a pain in the ass as it was, it does feel like it puts a little bit of a damper on my odds of success in that regard. It may be worth running from, like, most fights once I get to the Brannock Castle. Because, yeah, we're going to be encountering some things that are painful here. Are you the save point? Yeah, this guy's the save point. Excellent. Yeah, get a little bit of lag on that save load screen. Definitely sort of saying, hey, you really should have just played this on your cartridge, champ. And to be fair, that's not wrong. But hey, there's plenty of items here. I didn't even realize that. Oh. Dang it. Staff boy. Pick the thing up. Hooray! We got a full heal item, so that's good. Another silver amulet. That... God damn it. I'm pretty sure that all the upcoming bosses basically purge on most of their attacks. So that might be nice for the final boss. Depending on what sort of RNG I get out of that. Yeah, so that's great. I do love that the game is like, hey, yeah, no melee moves for you. Yes, yes I did. That's a good catch. Alright, so these guys. Well, the red one seems to be not... I think they're both fire. Fuck. Well, that does hurt my feelings a little bit. But in that case, I guess I can just, like, continue a strategy of run away from them and mash C right a bunch. These guys, however... Oh, the ogre is water. Well, that's nice. That lets me do some much better up close damage, at least. So that's pretty good. Oh god, they use fireball level 3. That's painful. Okay, Brian, you can stop that anytime. Yeah, unfortunately, I think enemies' defense is just so high now that... we're not going to get easy 300 damage out of anything. Not for a little bit, anyway. Alright, power staff. Yeah, we want that big burst of healing where we can. Of course. One last insult from the game, as usual. And then we go this way. This is a fairly long path, but I believe it has some goodies for us. And yeah, they're using their evade spells, which thankfully one of them missed with it, which is great, but also thankfully it's not gonna completely break any of these fights for us, hopefully. All right, please don't get into large cutter range. Oh, you jackass. Yes, just come on, spend more time standing still so that way I can do this, guys. And that should be everything in the Barragoon Moor. Now we go into the castle. And at bare minimum, there's like a town there, so we can go save first. Dodge side to side a little bit here. Yeah, with most of those going to the left, I can fail to press all my buttons. Whoops. Oh, thank goodness. There's our free turn. Actually, this is probably as far back as I can get, strangely enough. If I walk along the wall, I think I just get pushed towards it. Well, that was quite easy. Game, if you want to give me more of the White Knights, those ones are easier for me to take down. That's right, game. I need you to unload a whole White People magazine. Wait. Wait. I don't know how to let gags die, so yeah. Alright, so that gets us the Black Wings, which will bring us back here. You know what, before I do that, I'm actually gonna go do a quick tour of picking up some breads. Yeah, this town music opens in a very similar way to the other one. Oh, that was a weird little sound glitch that we got there. Alright, so now... back out of here, back to the main street, and that'll take us the way we need to go. I don't think there's anything to pick up in town, in terms of, like, chests or anything. And if there is, we'll get them after we inevitably die in this castle. Or even just on the road to the castle, because we gotta do that first. $35 damage is not so bad. I mean, I don't want to take that too constantly or anything, but... Alright, so they're not water elemental, I suppose, but... No, that's really the wrong move to use here, but... If they want to not hit me properly with Fire Pillar, that's perfectly fine, actually. Alright, so just always try to go for the one that's further away, I guess. Okay, so I guess the Gloomwings are probably fire elemental then. They're certainly not water. And at that damage, I'm not assuming them to be earth. So we can't go in the front door of the castle, but we can go around. And see, I'll just show you that we can't. Won't let us go in the front door of the castle, because it's sealed shut. Instead, we gotta sneak in the back way. Oh no, it's only one way. Bypass the door briefly, because, hey, for a start, we are safe here, so pays to explore. And two, because there's a spirit over here. One of the last, like, 3 in the game. So the odds are pretty good that we're not hitting level 50 water. Because, yeah, fights here suck, and we're probably going to try to take as few of them as possible. Especially if the game continues to throw Red Rose Knights at us, that's going to be a bit of an issue. I see, we've got this lineup. Because yeah, I think the white boys only do that. And 14 a hit is damage, but compared to some of what we've encountered here, that's downright tolerable. Unfortunately, these things are a bit of a problem. That large cutter hits about as hard as you, quite frankly, should expect it to at its size. And this room... God, just imagine, like, if there was anything down there in the lower courtyards as you bypass them on these areas. This could actually be a great place to have, like, some cool set pieces, but unfortunately, you know, rushed game, N64, there are things that are working against Quest 64, to put it nicely. But I think it does pretty well for itself outside of that. Like, You consider the sort of level we're talking about here, this game does okay for itself. I, however, kind of don't, but I don't think any of you will hold that against me. The movement patterns of the homing arrows are quite weird, so I'm never quite sure how to dodge them. And indeed, sometimes it'll be like, hey, I'm standing still here, and I take hits from all three of them. Or I'll take a hit from just one of them, from the same caster, or, you know, anything like that. Okay, yeah. Being at close range is not great for that, so try to dodge, I guess. At least try, because then you'll make sure that one of them doesn't hit you. Duly noted. But that seems like a respectable defense farm for how deep into the game we are. I mean, obviously, if we want a real defense farm, we would want to go back to Windward Forest and try to get them to try to get Lamias to show up. But har har har. So I think there's a spirit in here. Yes, 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 yes. There we go. That gets us a little more. Again, slowly ramping up our wind and hopefully being able to put that to use. Okay, yeah, this is the room where we actually just kind of go around everything. Even chests over here at these. Yeah, these are actual cannons. I was like, is this set up for... I don't even think that there were cannons on the pirate ship. Wow. It's the first gunpowder-oriented object we've seen in this entire universe. Alright, don't, please. Fuck. So painful. Alright, power staff. Works for me. Alright. This. Unfortunately, we took all 3 hits there, so yeah, we're really not recovering HP from this, but we managed to recover a fair bit from the fight overall, just not from that turn. And I'll consider that's good. I would prefer to save any healing items for the boss or quite close to the boss at bare minimum. Yeah, I'll just run from this fight. That layout is kind of crap. I mean, okay, 2 enemies, but the proportion of red knights is a little too high. This, however, feels like a perfect position to be able to at least start bombarding this dude. He might actually... I was gonna say, he might actually think to approach me next turn, though, so... There's a bit of a risk. What we got there? Oh, shit. Well. Ouch. Good, I'm glad. We don't get a save point before guilty, huh? Well, let's eat a bread. And here's this jerk. And, oh, buddy. Yeah, he resists everything, huh? And he's got a massive FU range. I think if I want to do this, I probably should actually be trying to use my status effect somewhat, but... I don't think silence affects... I don't think level affects its chance to hit you. Chance to land, rather, but... Silence does work on bosses, right? Like, I know restriction doesn't. Does compression work? Well, it missed. So again, if I want to get out of this... As much as I'd like to save my stuff, you know, I will use at least one healing potion. God, I wish they would let me actually move. 2 long farts. Yeah, yes, that is correct. She's here. Not saying much at the moment. It's fine. I'm sure there's quite a few, because this is definitely one of those games that has an audience that defies its reputation, I suppose, is a way to stick words together. Oh, I didn't even get it missed. I landed with only one of those, and unfortunately it's not a good choice to even bother with if I'm staying that far away. You know, let's go ahead and use the fresh bread. I'm just gonna go ahead and pound these healing items, even if that's going to probably put me in a very bad position for Mammon ultimately. I mean, it's probably going to cause some problems for Vegas as well, but we'll deal with that when we get there. At bare minimum, we'll be healthier there, and we'll have a non-resistance to exploit. But I have a large amount of healing potions. That should be fine. Just try to actually use those a little bit, and I have no idea how much damage I need to do total, or how much I've dealt, basically. Although I can say I'm not super looking forward to having to spend a turn recovering my mana. I mean, it sounds like a big whatever sort of thing, but that is a bit of a time spent there. Yeah, that was the main goal. I'm not using any of the water magic, or obviously none of the earth magic, but I haven't leveled that up. I didn't even get an early game heal as like a fallback. That was gonna be I had set that as if I thought this was getting to be too much, but truth be told, it somehow never did. I mean, there were some areas where random encounters were absolute dog shit, but you know, when your utility is this not there, that's gonna happen. So really, the water is only there for stats. Okay, I should be able to take another hit. I haven't seen... The highest I've seen his Dagger Claw do is like 30. So 34 should be within specification. Oh yeah, I was so prepared to eat my words for that though. Unfortunately, my understanding is that he purges with that and with his ground slam. So I can't really do much vampiring to drain the guy's HP and, you know, heal without using items. But the old strategy of just run away and mash Windcutter 3 is doing good work here. We're getting over 100 damage a turn. Oh yeah, we had excellent damage going into things. Like, especially since I was just going straight into wind as soon as the game started. Did I go through the correct door? Now hold on a second. I need to go look at these again because I'm like, wait, this feels like a path I was just on. Okay, no, the doors are just identical. My bad, I don't remember the like compass directions for what parts of the map. And I'm kind of like very location blind in this game. And now going downstairs after we spent so much time going up is gonna throw me off even more. But yes, our damage output has consistently been pretty damn good. I think I killed Solvering in like... Oh, damn it. In 4 hits? I think it was 4, but I had gotten up to him with level 25 wind. So I was putting very big dents in him. Granted, I probably could have done it faster if I had realized that Windcutter 3 was higher damage than Large Cutter, but that was explained to me afterwards. So, yeah. And then I got up to Zealous with Vampire's Touch ready. So hey, I actually got to fight a boss with melee strategies, which is a bit of a rarity in this game. You really do not get to staff most bosses down. Because Nepti purges at close range, but also, I mean, oh hey, Nepti purges at close range. My fire was at 50 by that point, so I just magma balled her over and over. And she died in like 3 turns or something. I think it was closer to 4, but it was quite fast. And considering I've tended to think that she's a little bit of a difficult fight, there was something that felt really good about just absolutely turning her into paste. Shilf was surprisingly not a bad fight. It was just the getting there that was unfortunate. Because that's... You've got to, Barragoon Tunnel. The encounters are really not suited to you having this sort of skill set. Torments and Ghosts are easy to fight. It's a free defense grind, and you can regen off of them with Vampire's Touch even without having Power Staff on. But good luck hitting the other two things with melee, and sprites do not take enough damage from your wind spells to really make that a fun fight to engage in. That's... You, This is me going backwards, isn't it? Because this room layout is exactly the same, and I forgot the hallway up to Guilty's room. I mean, we were still facing the right way, so after the fight we should have been going... Oh, whatever. I suppose I'll find out if I get to a place where there's a chest that's already been opened. And in that case, it'll just be like, well, okay, I got some more stat grind. Because, yeah, no, we have to go up, right? Because we exit out at the top of the castle. I've been a fool. Anyway, that's fine. The extra experience is not bad, actually. But yeah, encounters in Barragoon Tunnel suck for this skill set, but Shilf is actually not a bad fight, because you can just hit her really, really hard with Magma Ball. And then Fargo, after you hit that point, it's just, hey, now everything is just spam Windcutter 3. I'm not completely sure what the Mammon fight is going to end up looking like in that regard. I'll find out when I get there. And in a case like that, probably not succeed very many times, but that's okay. Oh well, we'll have to do it a couple of times. It's kind of fine, ultimately. Did our... Yeah, our thing disappeared. Oh well. But yeah, this challenge is not something that I would recommend to a casual who doesn't play this game a huge amount, but I think it's been fun. Even with all the encounters that have, you know, made me a little salty, but a lot of that is mostly for the same reasons that anything in Quest 64 would be frustrating. For example, missing a lot of your attacks. Because our agility grind, you know, didn't really grind. Brysolf, I'm doing pretty good. How about you? I heard there was a big game in that Smash TV tournament. Unfortunately, it started at the same time that I do, so I missed the results. I hope it was a good match for the spectators, no matter what. Because that's... Just picking away at TRB stuff. Yeah! Went 6 or 7. That's pretty good. I mean, best of 7 getting at least almost to the end of the set of rounds there. That sounds like a pretty good finale for that tournament. Ah, I see. And yeah, I assume there's plenty of... Oh, it's not done yet? Well, then I'm a buffoon. That was just winner's finals. Okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So yeah, nearly there, but still, that sounds like quite a high point in general. And how's the working on the TRB stuff going? Burgundy, yeah, Burgundy's on vacation, right? So, or did he get back already? I mean, that's a distinct possibility. Surprise if it is done. Nice. Oh, good times. That is Great to hear that there's been that much work on all that stuff. Plenty of content. I am looking forward. Okay, so just trying to tweak the aim a little bit there for a bit more of an AoE spell. Thankfully, that dude is just buffing and not thinking to get any closer to me, so I can just bombard from afar. And then this game's encounter rate can do what it likes to do best. And give me an immediate fight. If I was going to be a little bit smarter about things, I probably should really just try to bomb this guy from far away with our wind cutters. But I'll do for going for a little bit of HP drain. I have got a bread I can eat in order to make our journey a little bit easier in that regard. Just getting close. I don't need to get in close for those, but he stole my bread roll! Wait. I forget the exact... But yeah, in Earthbound, and you and those fucking crows, man. Okay, yeah, this is definitely different architecture, so this was the correct way to go. And we get one of our MP recoveries back. That's pretty good, but I could definitely use healing items more than that game. I mean, the MP stuff is pretty important, but at bare minimum for the next boss, the guy does not resist wind. Or doesn't resist all elements, which, same diff. So, I can at least... I can probably damage race him compared to my MP a little better. There should be a door in one of the side walls here that takes us to a save point. Soon. Don't come any closer. I've got a lot of these things. That's right. I've got like a absolute metric crapload of green Kirby cutters, but they're really weak. Actually, wait, no, again. Getting close. Going to Vampire's Touch here for optimum acquire HP, or at least stave off our damage that we take from this fight. Don't let them buff their defense, which they only do at long range, so yeah, that part of the encounter is over for us. Hey, only 2 hits, so we heal that off. And now go for the kill with magic. And... yes. Alright, so we pick up... once we get into position on this, it's a little janky, as you can see. Get some mint leaves. Yay! We get more mana recovery. Hooray! Now this is the save room and also a treasure room. Where's the one spirit that's in here? There is one spirit in here. There it is. It's in a slightly funky position. Pick that up, get another level in water, just to slowly ramp up its boost for our wind spells. And this is probably as high level as we're going to end up being. But hey, that's fine. Talk to this kid, and have a little bit of lag there. Save. Wow, 277 max HP. That's ridiculous. I'll be right back. Oh, controller, please. Okay, now I'll be right back. All right, folks, I am back again, and I believe we're quite close to... Yeah, okay. I could have figured that one out from positioning, but instead I chose to look for the stairs. I believe we're quite close to the next boss. And we're at full HP, so there's no real reason to melee this guy. At least it certainly won't really behoove us to drain any of his HP. Just chop him up into little pieces using our wind cutters. Hey, we got a bread back. Nice. Truly they are the spiteful crows of this game. Oh, boo, we took a little bit of damage. You're really tempting me to go in there and go melee on these guys, huh, game? Well, I'm not gonna... I mean, I almost feel like I should, but these guys have been softened up enough that they're not giving me jack diddly squat back, really. Oh, you... Lords of Bunghole. Just... You guys keep your distance. Don't push forward too much. Don't enter into attacking range. Oh yeah, that guy's stuck back there. At least for now. Until the dude who's blocking him dies, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. Admittedly, this is a bit dangerous to get in close, but worked out fine. All right. And this is the room where plot happens. I believe I gotta talk to these guys for that reason. The pick up there. Okay, so I don't have to talk to them to get the key item? That's further up. Well, that's my memory for you. I.e., not very good. Now this fucker is gonna hurt us too much for me to be able to successfully suck for HP, so we'll just do damage instead. Because, hey, let's take the experience, why not? Hey, 69 defense, nice. 63 agility, that could be better. At least 6 points better, in fact. Wait. How much? Okay, we don't have quite the level of reach on that I would like, but... Will that reach that guy now? No, it won't. Shit. Well. That's a pity. Seems like a total waste to leave this fight now, so... Let's just try to get out of here while taking a minimum of damage. And if they're just gonna sit there buffing, then that makes my job easy. Well, never mind, don't say nothing. Right, just keep your mouth shut at any given time. That's probably the easiest. Well, I guess they had to throw in one extra encounter in this zone just to cause me issues. Right. Oh, I was hoping it wouldn't drop the other buff. Oh, well. It's fine. That's a little bit of defense grind, but mostly it's just that I can out-damage this and heal as long as I try to dodge one of the arrows. And yeah, we're not quite going into King Bogus with full HP, but at least we can recover our mana. Come on. And game, I would like it if you keep that on screen for a little while, but I think it's tied to me stopping moving. Oh, did I get the last one back? Oh well. If not, that's fine. And yeah, we did not. So we're gonna keep our distance from Vegas here, and he's going to do that. So that may not be our best strategy. It might behoove us to actually get in close. At least close enough for him to do that, which deals significantly less damage. Does he have a third attack? Or does he just do that stuff? We can definitely damage race him better than we could damage race Guilty. Okay, yeah, so he's just got the charge slash and that. The shitty green thing. Well, game, if you insist, then I guess there's not much reason to try dodging. Yeah, it really does take us that long to be able to actually move out of the way. Which means that his green shit hits that easily. So if we just stand here and we just tank this damage, I'm sure we'll live to regret it, but Aside from that, you know, we'll get there eventually. Probably. Alright, now, Vegas, if you can miss a little more often. Yeah, that's better, buddy. And he's down. Dirt easy. Baby game. Baby fucking game, y'all. Baby a game for babies. And there's no more spirits for us to pick up in the world, so... Once again, our levels are... this, and that's probably about as high as we're gonna get. Thank you for the key item, Shannon. Off we go. Also, by the way, shoutouts to over 300 max HP. That's a number... Now, it has been a minute since I've played Vanilla Quest 64, but that feels like a very large quantity for sure. Alright, so what kind of element is this dude? Is the Spriggan? He's blue. He's probably water, judging by that sort of damage. He's just also incredibly fat on the HP side here. Like, that's gotta be at least 600, right? My god, he's beefier than Silverring. He's also like 3 times his height. I bet that Spriggan is really good at basketball. Oh yeah, it's just a wall. I thought this room was later. Really weird that the world of Mammon has doors like that, you know? And here we get into the creepy Bloodwater Forest. And genuinely, this is kind of an unnerving location from an atmosphere perspective. It'd be better served by, like, good textures, but... all considered, it's... quite unsettling, actually. Alright, so we can heal off this dude. Because his melee attacks only do 20. And we heal 34 per Vampire Strike. So provided we don't get silenced at the start of those fights, I can just take those. Those are actually just free stats. Or stat experience anyway. Ah, shit. These things, however, we cannot take. These are, like, extremely bad to fight. Yeah, the pinhead there, or Nidhogg as they're known in Japan, that thing just opened up by ripping 100 HP off of us. Those aren't great to fight, even in like a normal run where you have spells that are usable at like far distances. But in this game, in this version of events, Pooh Doctor. Oh, ouch. Big ouchie for the judgments here. Fighting these just kind of seems like it's an HP tax. Unless we can dodge those rocks in an adroit manner, but well, okay, so we can at least reduce what a health tax it is by using this, because we might be able to just straight up out heal it using... Oh, piss off. I want absolutely none of what you're selling here. Get me out of here. That's not great. We might actually be able to heal off of a fight with multiple judgments. We just would have to, like, oscillate our attacks properly. And then we just give up when there's only the one left. And, oh, I think I'm gonna fucking die here. Yep. Yeah, just immediately assassinated. That's lovely. We're back down at the castle. Because, quite frankly, we have no other save point. Up until we are, like, right in front of the final boss, I think. Well, that was just rude of you, game. Sheesh. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. Go in. Go out. I said go out. Alright, so this is the first of the weird pink bubbles rooms. Plus no pinhead. Okay, yeah, it's just some of these guys. It's just the dunk masters. It's Hans and Franz, I just realized. They're here to pump us up. He's apparently far enough away that he's still casting silence. That's funny. Wow, what an incredibly ineffectual enemy. Like, look at that, just swinging at dead air. That's hysterical. I think it's like inching back during each attack, though, so that might be why. But it's a little bit like, wow. Alright, do this, and let's go. I probably don't have to even bother approaching during that one turn. It's just that for some reason my brain's like, hey, yeah, walk forward for some reason. That'll totally show them what's what. Because you can absolutely intimidate enemies in this game. They have that level of AI. No, that may not actually be... Oh, fuck off. Silence 2. Nothing. Good, I love to get into a fight and just lose 200 HP. Just pay the troll toll to get into Mammon's nutsack. I don't know. Perhaps understandably, I am moderately frustrated by what just happened. God damn it. Really? Okay, so their HP is not as high as I thought it was before. Because... At least I don't think it is. Okay, which side of the door works? Because it really seems like... Did I get turned around again? I think I did. How? Oh, right, because of... Because the fucknut brigade, right. Now, as we said before, we can abuse an encounter like this as long as we target the enemies appropriately. Because otherwise, the judgments have very high magic, and we are absolutely fucking this up. Oh, shit. I literally just ran into that, huh? That was pretty embarrassing. How's it going? We're pretty close to the end. I'm just sort of abusing that guy a little bit for some HP, and then we can end the fight with some wind cutters. Oh, I was actually quite concerned there because I remembered that one time I walked into the fire pillar. But I was like almost for sure that it would have been a rock at that range, but apparently not. Oh no, that's just a chunk over there. Looked a little odd. And so here's the door we gotta use, right? Alright, now remember, these dudes are just free HP as long as our RNG isn't that bad. Which, hey, they seem to be the ones who are getting the bad end of the RNG today, so I'm all for that. And hey, yet again, getting to see the enemy just swipe at thin air. What fun. I mean, it's not happening in a sustained manner, but how bad was Vegas? Not very. I mean, I had to use a healing potion, but ultimately it was kind of okay once I got into melee range with him. Which is one of those things that sounds deeply silly to say, but once I got into range with the boss, it all sort of worked out. I'm significantly more concerned about my long-term sustainability against the encounters here, which, you know, these enemies can be kind of gross. But I think I've got a strategy that'll work here. And ultimately, these dudes aren't causing me too bad a problem. I mean, I'm not losing it without paying attacks, but ultimately, whatever. You can recover HP off of the multiple judgment parties, which I mentioned earlier, but since you weren't here, you can, but you have to like bounce between the targets a little bit, because otherwise they use fire pillar, and their fire pillar does like 60 damage almost. So you want to make sure you're out of melee range for that. Thankfully, they use it a little bit outside of melee range. So yeah, just be careful you don't run back into it, otherwise you will hurt. But yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, it dies and we have a long walk back, but at least that's stats. Obviously, the worst encounters here are still pinheads, because that's just, you know, lose a third of your HP and potentially more depending on what else you are dealing with there. before you can escape. Although I haven't seen Pale Riders yet, so I don't know how bad these guys can be. 71 damage on Large Cutter. Well, it's not a sustainable fight, but it's not as bad as certain other things, so... I mean, I'll take that as almost a breather. It can physical attack? What? I've never seen that before, so... So if I get closer to it after it fireballs me, is it... like, gonna do that? Is it guaranteed? Is it some sort of weird RNG thing? Because I felt like they were getting right up in my face, but maybe enemies are just, like, that not wont to do to get into melee range. Still, Judgments are easy. Spriggans are extremely easy because they do physical attacks, and their physical attacks are dog garbage. They do like 20 damage to you with a physical hit, so I can just heal off of Spriggans, actually, with no strategizing involved. Huh. Okay, so there's our save point. Yeah, nothing else to do over there. Do we just... I was gonna say, do we just have a walk to the boss? Yeah, because we're in, like... creepy Nightmare Mel Road. Oh, that's not the exit. It's the other exit to town. Exit from town. And despite this being part of Mammon's world, there's no fights here. I mean, there's even space for it, so... that's why it's noteworthy and why I said anything. Oh, yeah, free fight. This one... this feels good. Did I get all 98 spirits? No, I missed... either one or two. And they were both in the Dindum Dries map. I mean, obviously I missed the one in the big desert expanse. But I lost count of how many that I picked up in the area out by Greenock. And I started typing my buttons in wrong there and almost used a spell that is banned. So, whoops. But yes, game, if you're going to keep giving me encounters, keep throwing Spriggans at me, because those are just completely free. I don't have to think at all. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the other one, but ultimately, yeah. Hey, one last level for the road. That's neat. Ultimately, yeah, the big one was the mid-desert one that I missed. And yeah, here comes the shit brigade. Well, let's find out about this melee thing, because I'm literally in melee range of this guy. Let's see what kind of damage we have to deal with here. 18. So yeah, actually that's perfectly handleable because yeah, I guess monster melee damage is just like nothing ever, so after the fire pillar earlier, I keep expecting judgments to just keep doing that. Oh, yeah, I almost ran into that because I was expecting the rock that time. Oh, sir, that was rude. Give me that back. Oh, he gave it back to me, all right, and with interest, too. Shit. I only did that because I thought that was going to be a kill shot. Alright, here we are. It's time for the final boss. Okay, so for Mammon, if I recall correctly, the deal is that he purges with only the green energy blast thing, which is a hit the entire screen move, right? So is there like a positioning that I should use to make him not do that? Because if he does his 1,000 arrows thing while I have a gold amulet up, that shouldn't do too much damage. So if I can stand in a place that will force him to do that, and again, provided that it's not, that it doesn't purge. So I'm just kind of up shit creek on this one. All right, well, then I've got 2 of these golden amulets, I believe, right? I just saw one. Yeah. There's one, and there's another one further up here, because we get one outside of Vegas. Let's do this, and... Alright, let's just try hanging here and see how this goes. Ugh. That's not a great range to dodge it from. It could be that he just does everything in a pattern, too. Yeah, we should at least try to dodge his, like, his millions of bullets. Alright, and there is his disco light. I'm also going to see if I can just get into melee range with him. And maybe then I can, like, try to... try to do some shit here. Do I have... Yeah, I've got healing potions back here. Alright, good. Well, that didn't work out. Alright. Vampire's Touch. Oh, are you just gonna do that up whenever I'm up here? That didn't work out very well, again. Okay, no, so he does do other stuff here, but... basically, if I die here, I'm gonna reset, because... I would like to get my items back in that case. And we recover 31 a hit. Granted, we also take a lot more than that from those. Oh shit, that was me doing the wrong one instead of Power Staff. Whoops. Those firewalls are disgustingly strong. Oh, good God. That's not a fun way to spend an evening, that's for sure. Brian, you stupid motherfucker. The character, not... God damn it. I'm pissed because I literally lost the run to RNG, dude. Anyway, let's reload. We've only got to go like another room or two to get back there, so we're almost there. But like I said, I don't want to lose the items because I can't go back and get those. And they're going to be too vital to my success here. Yeah, I mean, if it all comes down to it, I can just farm for defense there. And it'll be really, really uninteresting, but, I mean... Wow, rude, guy. Alright, now just back and forth a bit here. Now that we're at max HP. It's time to clear things out. Yeah, get our 47 back that we don't need. My defense and agility are 71 and 65. Which, I mean, I know that, again, it's just like, hey, that's way too low for this sort of thing, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Or perhaps it won't. Silver Amulet. That'll do for a start. And then we just spam wind cutters. Crap. And there's the disco ball. It missed. Thank goodness. Unfortunately, our thing ran out on its own volition. I do still have at least some healing items, so there's still technically sort of the possibility that I can make something of this. But we'll throw on a buff first. As he refuses to disco ball, that's good. I second guessed where that one was. I second guessed my own depth perception, so yeah. Oh, of course, the thing ran out right on the turn. I was like, yeah, I'll be safe. Not by enough, that's for sure. Alright. Amulet. Throw those out. Miss. No miss. Dang. Right. Healing potion. I'm using the small stuff earlier because it's less important, basically. I mean, it's not like this guy goes through phases, but still, my brain's just like, hey, yeah, use the things that matter less earlier in the fight. And I'm assuming that Silent Flute doesn't work on him. Like, I can't do anything to confine his ability to do shit. Because, after all, he is the final boss. That seems like that would be a little bit on the ridiculous side of things. Yeah, I knew the spiritual disco ball was gonna happen at some point soon. Soonish. Debuffs work. Okay, so... Oh, I'm just literally banned from using it in this fight. Huh. Well, that's a way to solve a problem, I suppose. The programmer's solution, if you will. Okay, yeah, at this point, we definitely are in need of using a heal. Did I use all the ones earlier? Excuse me. Right, yeah, that's about what I figured. But it is, like, still kind of sad. I would have liked to have used that. Alright, gold talisman, and immediately gets erased. Use a bitch, Mammon. It's okay, 82 HP is still, we can take a hit. In fact, we can take the entire clip of missiles if we need to. So, technically, we can take multiple hits. Ooh, nice dodge. Not so nice that time, though. $65, I feel like I can push that. Even if he flame walls, I think we're... I was gonna say, I think we're safe if we dodge, but... Admittedly, that was technically a dicey proposition. Do I have more? I have another healing potion. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Alright, and there's Disco Elysium. Where's our Dragon's Potions? Not even bothering with Hero's Drink because that's not enough mana. Just have to use more. Like, I can almost assure you of that. Alright, we can take a hit. So... do that. I think that's going to be the last healing potion we have, so it'll be all spirit lights all the way after this. And still take a hit. We got him! Only took 2 tries. That's better than a lot of the bosses we've fought in this game, so... you know what? Hey! Good times. I have no idea how the hell he works at all in terms of his attack pattern. But... whatever. We did it. Yeah, I mean, the strategy involved there was kinda... honestly, not much of one. It's just shit wind cutters until you need to heal. Threw on our defense stuff as we felt appropriate. Yeah, obviously melee was just not gonna be a thing. Our movement range was too small. And honestly, using the giant shoe probably wouldn't have fixed things by enough for us. It could have, but also there was a high chance of our stuff getting procced, or our stuff getting canceled. So, yeah. Well, that's quite interesting. That's very strange. But hey, we did it, everybody. We beat not quite the hardest challenge in Quest 64, but probably the hardest mainstream challenge in Quest 64. Because last stream we were informed of one that is even harder than that. Staff. Yeah, that's appropriate for this game. I am not going to be doing that, certainly not anytime soon. Maybe I could put no chests, all staff as like a torture game request if I ever feel like I get big enough to actually make the torture game list, which would be at like every 34 or so subs. But all considered, yeah, I stuck about as close to the rules there as... I mean, technically I could have stuck closer because I could have just been like, I'm not going to spend any of the other spirits now that I've maxed out, but I think it's okay to do what I did. And if you disagree, well, then I would invite you to do this challenge yourself using the rules that you consider to be appropriate. However, saying all of that, once again, we're at a credit sequence, so yeah, I mean, we would have to like do some pretty serious math and stuff basically to avoid getting any other spirit levels and hit a flat just 50-50 1-1. As we're at the credit sequence, I give the usual ending of a game. I've talked about this game before. I think this game is actually quite fun. I don't think it deserves the reputation it has. It's not well balanced. It doesn't have much story or lore to like really speak of. And indeed, it is called in the US by the most generic possible name. Perhaps, like, if they were to revisit this, or I guess if someone else was to, with, you know, a little bit more writing, a little bit more story rigor involved there, maybe a party system of some variety, although that's not even necessarily necessary. But certainly currency and regular shops, as opposed to the system that this game uses, would probably be better. This could be quite a good game and, you know, change the title away from the franchise being called Quest. You know, there's enough going in the other regions titles that it would be fine. This challenge, however, I don't think I would recommend this, certainly not to the casual player. Don't do the Fire and Wind only thing. Do what most people do, where they get healing and they get avalanche and they do that, because that's a little bit more like of a regular difficulty. It's not an instant win button. It's just a little bit like boring. But again, I'm not your mom. Do whatever. Just, hey, have this here as a testament that the last like 11-ish hours of VOD that I have on here is like, yeah, this is good proof actually that you probably should consider against this. Oh goodness, I actually believe that Mammon is the only boss that we died against. Like, other times we had difficulty getting up to the bosses, but we were doing enough damage to Solvaring to kill him in 4 hits. Zealous didn't debuff us once, so we were actually able to just clobber him with our staff. Nepti was a massive pushover because we had strong magic on element. Shilf, I mean, Barragoon Tunnel was an absolute nightmare, but Shilf was quite easy. Fargo was tedious, but we beat that relatively handily. Guilty, I'm surprised I didn't die at Guilty. Guilty is just kind of a pain in the ass to fight no matter what. And Vegas, we got kind of down to the wire. I greeted a little bit on Vegas, but we beat him in one go. So yeah, Mammon is actually the only boss we died against. We just died to random enemies on the road constantly instead. But yeah, thank you for showing up even in the credits, Roundy. And everybody else who watched and everybody who came in for what I suppose ultimately ended up being a Questiversary special, because hey, we beat the game on its 27th release date anniversary. And I did it with a bit of a challenge run, so something a little bit different, you know? Ultimately, not a bad game, just a little bit dry at times. It's the sort of thing that I don't think you really could ask questions about somebody having like that sort of questionable direct-to-movie VHS bond that you get with some folks, unless you are like the absolute most cynical motherfucker in the universe. In which case, well, you're never going to understand the concept anyway. And as somebody who considers myself to be like the most cynical motherfucker in the universe sometimes, you know, again, very derogatory in that sentiment, but still, I understand why there are people out there who like this game. And it has absolutely nothing to do with this challenge run.